What's up, guys? I'm Chad Barnes, and welcome to the channel. Here, it's all about real car talk, from simple fixes to smart driving tips and keeping your ride in top shape. If that sounds good to you, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, and make sure you watch all the way through. There's a lot of good stuff coming. Let's get to it.
It wasn't an elephant talking, but a good friend, Peter from Retro Truck. Don't you want to make a movie? Yeah. We've rented 4 trucks for the movie. We need drivers. There's something I need to explain. One of Retro Truck's revenue streams is renting out vehicles to movie makers for historical films. I've been on a movie set with this company once before, but I've never done it myself. It's not that I wasn't invited, but somehow I wasn't drawn to it. To be honest, they didn't even call me. And here it is, a chance to become famous and get your own star in Hollywood. Of course, I said yes. Once Major Napoleon began a dizzying career in Toulon, and I'll start it somewhere here, on this movie. Why not? Early in the morning, unfortunately, I am not allowed to name the movie in which I had to appear. As a matter of fact, I wasn't even allowed to take any pictures, so the shots taken on my phone don't even show the main characters. But no one's stopping me from describing what we were shooting, are they? So, morning, May 1st, 1938. We have to shoot only 3 scenes in one day: the passage of the protagonists through a gloomy, half-deserted street, the performance of acrobats, and a parade in which cars and athletes take part. It doesn't seem like much, but filming, as it turned out, is not so much interesting as boring, tedious, and a bit nerve-wracking. The set turned out to be quite large. 2 streets with a T-junction were blocked. I couldn't drive up close. Everything was blocked by the police and the cruise equipment, so I had to leave my car in the yard and walk to the set. It wasn't very starry, but okay, I still have a long way to go. The camp of the filmmakers struck me at once. I had never seen 3-car Mazda jockey at once in my life. In fact, this is a TV special vehicle on a Carmaz chassis, built jointly with the Finnish company a jockey and a manufacturer of TV equipment. These cars have not been produced for quite a long time, and one can't help but wonder, how did they find 3 of them in the first place? The answer is simple. These mobile TV studios didn't really move around that much. Usually they arrived at the event and stood still while the TV crews were reporting from their wombs. So, by and large, there is nothing strange in the fact that some of these cars still exist today. Moreover, they are still working quite successfully. To see a whole brood of Carmaz jockey is interesting in itself. But there are more interesting things on the set. There are at least 2 sacred places in any film crew. There's the buffet and, the restroom. Toilets are traditionally yellow. Here my heart is happy again. You can see Mercedes-Benz T1S on the street now, of course, but usually they look like the liver of an alcoholic, but here they are quite alive. It is impossible not to find the buffet. The biggest crowd stands around it. But I don't care about it. I have to get my transportation. My friend was kind enough to offer me a pretty good choice. I could drive a Ford 2G8T, GMC CCKW 353, Studebaker US6, Ford G8T, or one of the 2 Ford cars. On the second day of the shoot, a ZIS6 was added, but I wasn't working that day. So, what to choose? I refused the latter for 2 reasons. Firstly, I wanted to shoot on a truck, it's brutal. And secondly, because of my beard. Yes. My nice, cute beard movie makers do not like. And not only my beard, they are generally against facial hair. It is difficult to make up. Either the beard should be for the era, or shave it off. I find it impossible to lose my beard for the sake of art, so Ford Phaetons are out of the question. My friends, one of whom, by the way, is quite bearded, but the movie people liked his beard, will ride in them. And yes, nothing funny. Lend-Lease trucks in 1938 don't embarrass them, but beards. Okay. Studebaker US6 I cancel at once. It already stands on a position, decorated by artists' decorators. I'm not interested in guarding a stationary vehicle. I did it once for the May 9th parade. I don't want to do it again. We don't know when the Ford trucks will arrive, but the GMC CCKW is already demanding to be on the lot. Keys. I need the keys. I'm coming. But what are the keys? The ignition is turned on by turning the flag, as it was customary on American military equipment. So I jump into the cab of my truck and drive out onto a street in 1938. Back and forth the street, it must be said, has changed noticeably. There are some buildings that should remind of the late 30s. There is movie-like dirt on the asphalt. On the photo, you can see that the road markings have acquired a strange red color. This is not paint, but a film that was glued on the markings. When editing a film, stripes of such color are easier to remove. I wanted to say Photoshop, but this modern verb probably does not fit the video format. The morning, as it happens, is clear. Of course, no modern director would allow a Soviet morning, even in 1938, to be clear. It must be gloomy and oppressive. That's why there are smoke machines in the streets, and just before each take, a specially trained man with a smoke bomb runs around the set. My task is simply to put the car on the side of the road. In the frame on the road to the May Day parade will go sad Soviet citizens with red flags. So all I have to do is park the car and hide from the cameras. We start the engine and drive to the site. They tell me on the radio where to stand. 1 meter to the left, 2 meters closer. Stand. Now we can go to the costume designers. I was unlucky with the costume. Costume designers have no respect for poor truck drivers. It went like this. I stuck my nose in the tent. A somewhat rude woman asks me, "Who are you?" "Truck driver." "Ah, this will be enough for you." Throws some thin shirt of protective color or whatever it's called, I don't know much about it. And take a hat. They give me a cap, which, I think, was worn by Dzerzhinsky. I look at my shirt with doubt. Despite the sun, it's a cold day. Should I take off my jacket and sweatshirt and flaunt it? No. I'll die. So I pull the shirt I was given right over my sweatshirt. I take my jacket off, of course. Right away, some guy from the costume department comes running up. "Why are you wearing that? On your own clothes? It doesn't fit well." He starts fussily tugging on my 30s outfit. It turns out so badly, but I doubt very much that truck drivers in those days looked like thieves. But I'm not saying anything. The guy puts the cap on my head. He seems pleased, but the cap is too small for me, so my eyebrows crease and a crease gathers on my forehead. The costume designer takes another critical look at me and makes me take off my glasses, out of period. Without glasses I'm blind as a mole, but the guy is satisfied. It's cold, my head is tightened by the cap like a hoop, I can't see anything. But you can't do anything for art. I run to the site to my car. In the meantime, they are fighting with a horse. A policeman rides by on a horse in the frame. And everything would be all right, but the horse also has its own absolutely animal needs. Daringly sticks out its tail, the mare spoils the set. Pause for cleanup. Meanwhile, they ask me to move the car to another location. The engine has had time to cool down, so my GMC won't go without a boost. This is bad, because I have to jump the curb and get the car onto the sidewalk. But since the GMC is a mix of a truck, diesel locomotive, and tractor, this task is like two kingpins against the asphalt. I don't even need to turn on the downshift. In normal life, it should be started from the second gear at all, so jumping over a curb is a simple matter for it. The only bad thing is that it is clumsy, so you will have to turn the steering wheel hard. Which, of course, is without any power steering. However, the car still hits the sidewalk, and the voice in the radio gives the last commands. Half core back. Back it up. Why is my car parked here? The car is here for two purposes. One, it's for show. And secondly, it just covers the roller shutters, which didn't exist in the 1930s. Know this, if there's an abandoned truck in the shot, it's there for a reason. Behind it hides either a barbershop, or a bank, or KFC, or something else that should not be shown. It's a very popular movie trick. Honestly, I thought it would be more interesting. But no. Again they repeat endlessly take, camera, motor. Again the actors of mass scenes throw off their insulation, read, outer clothing, and wander along the street, trying not to shake from the cold. I wander off to the side, peering at the truck and listening to the voices on the walkie-talkie. It's boring and cold. Well, I'll just have to bear it. The boredom is relieved by a resident of one of the houses. Take a look at this picture. The man on the balcony did not want to hide in his apartment. In the end, he was offered an alternative. If you want to be in the picture, you can be an extra. Put on a costume of the 30s, you'll be a bureaucrat. If you don't have one, go out in your family underwear and pretend to be a sportsman. The resident was uninspired by these suggestions and finally returned to his apartment. Cut, cut. 10 kilometers per hour, 8 meters, it's hard to believe, but from 9 o'clock in the morning until 2:30 in the afternoon, only 2 scenes were filmed. In the first, the crowd went a few seconds to the parade. In the second, the main characters were walking along the street for 100 meters. Operators, director, assistants, all of them had fun. But I, like other vintage car drivers, was bored. At least I moved my car from place to place, and the others just drank tea and waited for their star hour. That hour didn't come until closer to 3 o'clock. Blue from the Cold Acrobats made the 100th take of the pyramid and with a cheerful Matt ran to warm up. We began to line up our cars in a row. In front were 2 Ford convertibles, followed by 4 trucks. My GMC was second. Meanwhile, the filmmakers were building the street. They were putting up giant chroma key screens that would become a Moscow street in the finished movie. It turns out that to put such a screen can be very quickly, in a few minutes. However, this requires experience and skill. Meanwhile, we were preparing the cars. Theoretically, of course, they are all in good working order, but they are all almost 80 years old, and some of them are already 90 years old. So we quickly check everything and make sure that there is gasoline in the tanks. Checking the fuel level is just by era. We stick sticks into the tanks and see how much gasoline is left in them. If necessary, we refill them. Waiting for the command engine in the open GMC cabin is quite cold. I pull on my jacket, and as soon as I hear the director's voice in the radio, I throw it on the floor in front of the front seat. And for some reason I catch myself thinking that when we start driving, I'm not cold at all. It turns out I'm worried. Because, first of all, the GMC is nowhere near a Canter or a Mighty. It's a harsh pile of iron with 4-wheel drive, heavy pedals, steering wheel and levers. And secondly, I happen to have a lot of excitement. My assistants, who commanded our May Day parade, put fear and excitement on me. There is a voice in the radio. The interval between the cars is 8 meters. We drive at a speed of 10 kilometers per hour. Just in case, the owner of the voice walks along the column and repeats the setting to each driver. Meanwhile, periodically it begins to rain, and the windshield wipers in these cars are purely formal. The roof on the GMC is topped and holy, but we don't care about that. It's the dirty wet glass that's bad. It's worse for those who sit in convertibles, though. In the first Ford is silence at all. It is equipped with native tires, so it is better not to jerk on a seat unnecessarily. Tires can shoot, age. Camera, engine, 3 to 1. Here we go. We pass 300 meters, we stop. The voice in the radio commands to take the initial position. The whole convoy goes into reverse. We go backwards. And so on 5 times. I was not very lucky. 10 kilometers per hour is a very uncomfortable speed for the GMC. It is too fast for the first gear and slow for the second. But it is still better to drive in the second gear, but practically at idle speed. You can't play with clutch either. It is a pity to burn it on this car. Therefore, it is necessary to start very quickly, immediately releasing the pedal of clutch and gas, and then drive almost all the way at idle, strictly keeping the interval. It's more difficult than I thought. Finally, it's all shot. The radio mutters some thanks. I take off my movie clothes and park the truck in a row. The cars will spend the night on the street. The shirt and cap go into the hands of the costumer, and I move on to the pleasant procedure of calculation. Yes, for this shooting day, I was from 10 in the morning to 7 in the evening, are ready to pay money. That's what's so amazing. Money, by the way, not too much, but still 3,000. Why not? It's just the beginning of a career. Was it interesting? Honestly, not very much. The first half of the day you just had to move the car from place to place. In the second half, yes, there was life boiling. Of course, to be on the set of a movie as a truck driver, it's quite a fun experience, but no need to call me to the movies anymore. I like my job better. Although if there's any driverless GMCs out there, call me. I'll come for the love of those 80-year-old cars. And the art, too, although the GMC is more motivating. I express my gratitude to Retro Truck Company for the provided car and the opportunity to visit the shooting. And for 3,000 rubles I thank you too. In conclusion, the Lend-Lease GMC CCKW serves as a fascinating example of how retro vehicles can play a pivotal role in filmmaking, even in unexpected contexts like a screen door for KFC in 1938. This unique blend of history and creativity highlights the importance of authenticity in cinema, where every detail contributes to the storytelling experience. As we continue to explore the intersection of classic cars and film, we gain a deeper appreciation for the artistry involved in bringing stories to life. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time and film.